Okay, I'm going to try and fire through this fairly quickly because I know I haven't got a lot of time to do this. I saw Veronica Rose's video response to Evie Wilkinson's What Makes a Deck a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to respond to it, but I was so ill. I had such a cold, and A, I didn't feel like it, and B, I would have been coughing and sneezing through the entire thing, so it didn't happen. But I did say to Evie that I would try and do one as soon as I was well enough. Sorry, I keep being distracted by the snow that's falling outside, yeah, which is why I have this light on me, because there is no light here. So apologies if it sort of reflects in my glasses. I hope that's not too distracting, but if it, takes your attention off my face, it's all good. Right, what makes a deck? What are those make or break cards in a deck that you always go and look for before you purchase a deck? The ones where if they've got it wrong, you could never live with that deck. Obviously, I'll put all the links down below. Right, and for the purposes of this, I'm going to be using my latest acquisition, which, thank you, Naomi from Nandora, is the Tarot of A.E. Waite, published by A.G. Muller, agm-urania. Now, you might notice it says de down there. I ordered an English version, and they sent me a French version. I didn't even realize there was a French version. And I thought, oh, I don't want a French version, I want the English version. So I immediately hit the return and replace button. And then I thought about it for a while. The thing with this deck, and I'll show you, well, obviously one, is that the titles, oh, that's a bit silly, let's put it there, that's why I'm actually sitting this way, are typewritten. They couldn't use Pam's handwritten titles. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, seeing The Fool in the wrong font is really going to wind me up. Whereas Le Mât, it is what it is. I'm not expecting to see those words in Pam's script. So I quickly got back on there and cancelled my replacement and decided to keep the French one. And luckily I caught them in time, and that's that. So I'm keeping this one because I can live with the French titles. I'm used to them. What I couldn't live with, sorry my relatives, is the German titles, because they are completely foreign to my eye. Was it the Hohenpriester? Anyway, just seeing that would have looked really weird. So I plumped for French. Sorry. Anyway, so back to the point of this video. I'm using this deck, just to illustrate. Not that you really need any illustrations. I mean, you know what your decks look like. You know what the Rider-Waite-Smith looks like. But here we go. I'm basically kind of flipping through this to get an idea of my thoughts. Right, The Fool. Not really bothered. I think the biggest issue for me with any deck is when the deck creator makes the neutral-ish cards too positive and the negative cards too positive, too wishy-washy. They soften them too much. The Fool for me is a very neutral card. I don't really see this as a positive card at all. So please don't make it all footloose and fancy free and butterflies and flowers and everything's lovely in the garden. It's not necessarily. The Fool's a fool, so please don't mess him up too much. But other than that, I'm not really too bothered about the imagery. The Magician, I want him to look like he's competent. I don't want him to look like Merlin, preferably. I don't... See, if it were a Marseille deck, as far as I'm concerned, then the Magician is a con man. And he always looks like a hustler. So that's not a problem. But in Rider-Waite-Smith type decks, he can be a bit wizardy sometimes, and I do find that a bit off-putting. So no, he just has to look like a competent person who has all the tools he needs to do his job. He is, master of his will, that kind of thing. Yeah? Now, this is a lot of people put a lot of weight, emphasis on this card. I'm actually not too bothered. I've seen all kinds of high priestesses, papesses, well, not in this case, high priestess, you know, and as long as, I think the thing is, as long as it doesn't get too woo-woo, but to be honest, if a deck starts getting, you know, that woo-woo with the High Priestess and other cards, it's not a deck for me anyway. So, again, not a deal breaker. I'm not bothered about that one. Please don't give me a pregnant Empress. And that's just me, and I'm sorry, and I apologize to all you people out there who just adore children, think they're, you know, God's gift. I don't care for children. I know, I'm a horrible person. I never said I wasn't. I don't do babies. And a pregnant Empress would just... great. Sorry. So that is possibly a deal breaker as far as the deck goes. I'm sorry. Never said I was nice. Emperor. Again, this is a card that a lot of people have issues with. I don't. So, you know, I'm not too fussed with what the Emperor looks like. I have a little script sheet in my head of you know, what it means to me. If I see something, you know, unique in the card, obviously, we go for it. Am I tipping that a bit weird? There you go. But, not a problem. This one as well. Lots of people dislike this card and are very fussy about the imagery. I actually don't dislike this card. I don't have a problem with it. To be honest, actually, I almost have a problem with this card. I don't like a Hierophant that is too negative, that is too autocratic, dogmatic, controlling, blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't actually see the Hierophant like that. So if you give me an image of a nasty, dominating tyrant, I'm not going to like the deck. And this is coming close. He's not the most pleasant looking person. But, you know, I've gotten used to him over the years, so I just kind of soft focus when I look at this card. The Lovers, just don't go cutesy. Please don't go cutesy, you know, otherwise I'm not bothered. I have problems with the Chariot card. I have never actually seen a depiction that I actually like, and I don't like this one, and part of that is because I don't do Egyptian imagery. Egyptian stuff is a turn-off for me, frankly. So the couple of Sphinxes is kind of like, okay. And then I've never really understood why he's concreted into his chariot. You know, I mean, you see him, he's literally embedded in the chariot. This imagery has just always been really weird. And then generally you just get a guy or a woman on some sort of chariot drawn by a couple of somethings, you know. Yeah, just a weird one. I don't know. Strength, not a problem. I can't think of anything immediately that would make me go, oh, that would be an issue. No problem. The Hermit. Now, I love the Hermit card. Please, again, don't go woo-woo, wizardy, Gandalf in the snow type thing with me. Just a Hermit. Thank you. That's again, it's not a deal breaker, but, you know, I care about that one. I love this card. I don't know why. The Wheel of Fortune, not that, you know, necessarily this particular image. The Wheel of Fortune. So this is one I will always look at. It's not necessarily a make or break card, but I will go and look at it and see what you've done with it and judge you accordingly. Justice. Justice. The Hanged Man. Now this is again one of those neutral to, I want to say almost even negative cards that gets the New Age treatment from time to time, where he's sort of gently suspended from a flowering bower with, you know, butterflies dancing around his head and his heart chakra glowing and blah, blah. Please, please don't do that. It's the Hanged Man. You know, there's a bit more depth to it than that. Death. Now, this is a make or breaker. This is one of the cards I will go straight to if I'm given the opportunity in any deck. And I better see death. You put a butterfly on this card, that deck is going out the window. I want to see death. I want to see the end, finished, finito, forget it. You know. And it's got to look deathy. Okay? I love this card. I've always liked the Temperance card. I expect to see an angel. I don't know why. I think that's just this is one of the images that is imprinted in my brain. I want to see an angel, and then obviously the you know, mixing temperance-y type imagery. So this is kind of an important one. I would be disappointed if it doesn't live up to my expectations. Let's put it that way. I'm glancing. My husband's just arriving. I hope he doesn't interrupt me. I'll shut the door, so maybe he'll get the message. He might even just see the Hollywood lights on me here and figure out what I'm doing. The Devil. This is another one. I want it to look like a devil card. You know, I don't want it watered down, softened in any way. Devil. And the Tower. This is another card that I will go straight through. Straight through? Straight to. Thank you. This is one that... you! There he is, bless his heart. Recording! Deaf. So, this is one... total distraction. I've lost my train of thought now. When I see that card, I want to think, oh shit. Yeah, I don't want to see imagery that doesn't make me think, oh shit. You know, obviously there's more to it than that, but the gut reaction has got to be, oh shit. Right. The Star. Again, it can be a bit too twee sometimes, but, you know, I want it to look like a star. There you go. The Moon, not too invested in it. Sometimes I think the cards edge a little bit too much to the intuition meaning of the card. And sometimes it swings a bit too dark and mysterious as well. Neutral, please. But again, not a make or break. The Sun, Sun. As long as I can see that it's the Sun, not too bothered. Judgement. I like the Judgement card. This is another one that people have a lot of issues with. I want to see it looking like... In fact, this is the card that I look to for transformation, resurrection, big, you know, that kind of change that comes after the Death card. It's not incorporated in the Death card. For me, this is the card that says, it's all change, new opportunities, here we go. And which is kind of weird because, you know, the next card is World. I know it doesn't flow, but then I don't follow this Fool's Journey thing. Anyway, another video. So yeah, I want this to be a good, clear Judgment, resurrection-y type card. And then the World. And I do look for this one, and this is purely aesthetic. I love this card the same way that I love the Wheel of Fortune. I want it to look like a decent World card. I think the only issue is you can get too vague, and you know, it could be anything until you read the title. You know, other than that, you know, this to me says World card. I'm good. I had a quick look through the minors. The only thing that I can think of anyway that I don't like in the courts is when they assign the courts the individual suits to physical attributes. You know, where all the coins are dark-haired, dark-skinned, all the cups are fair-skinned, blonde-haired. I don't like that. I really don't like that. I like either a bit of diversity or a bit of neutrality, you know, so I'm not slapped in the face with, you know, that kind of thing. And again, the only ones I can think of, the only ones I thought of when I quickly flipped through them are the two obvious ones. I want the Three of Hearts to look like heartache and pain and suffering. Please don't soften that. That's there for a reason. And likewise, Simon, the Five of Coins, Five of Pentacles, that's gotta look like, you know, the shit has hit the fan, you know, you're down in the dumps and it's just awful. You know, it's gotta look like that. Please don't soften these cards, you know. Having said that, to be fair, I have softer decks. I have a Doreen Virtue Archangel Tarot, I think, maybe. I've got one of them, anyway, where obviously it's all very gentle and very soft, but I accept that for that deck. But if we're talking a general whip out a deck of tarot cards at any moment and do a reading, then these are the ones that I have expectations and needs for. I I think that's it. I think we've covered it. Yeah, go see the other videos. There haven't been too many responses, and I think it's a shame because it is kind of interesting. I went and saw Veronica's, and then I went back and then saw Evie's, and I'd like to see a few more because I do think it's an interesting subject. I've been yapping for over 15 minutes. I'll love you and leave you. Take care. Bye.